It happened in broad daylight, right in the middle of a busy intersection. Cars stopped. People screamed. But Harrison Cole, a blind combat veteran, never saw it coming. Not the flashing lights. Not the shouting. And certainly not the taser that dropped his loyal K-9 guide dog, Valor, to the pavement. In that single, horrifying moment, a quiet morning shattered into chaos, and the world watched as a hero was treated like a threat, until the very institution he once bled for came roaring back to defend him. Before we dive in, hit like, subscribe, and drop your country in the comments. I'm always amazed where these stories reach. Now, back to Harrison. Just an hour earlier, he'd stepped out for groceries, cane in one hand, Valor's harness in the other. A quiet morning. A routine walk. Nothing hinted at the nightmare about to unfold. The air was cool, washed clean by a recent rain, and the city hummed with the ordinary rhythm of life. For Harrison, that rhythm was everything. It was safety, predictability, and trust, and none of it would last. Harrison Cole wasn't just any veteran. He was a decorated Army sergeant who lost his sight shielding his unit from an IED blast in Kandahar. Now living modestly in a small apartment, he still wore his unit patch with quiet pride. Beside him always was Valor, a former military working dog retrained as his guide, a bond forged not just in service, but in survival. Valor had pulled Harrison from rubble overseas, and later, during a seizure at home, alerted neighbors who saved his life. To Harrison, Valor wasn't a pet. He was family, his eyes, his peace, his reason to walk with confidence through a world he could no longer see. Every morning began the same. Valor checked traffic, guided with gentle nudges, and gave Harrison something rare, dignity. With Valor, Harrison didn't just navigate the streets. He reclaimed a piece of himself. That morning, rain had left the streets glistening, the air crisp and clean. Harrison and Valor reached the crosswalk near 5th and Maple. Traffic was light. Harrison listened. Engines idling, distant chatter, birds in the trees. All normal. Then, without warning, a police cruiser screeched to a halt beside them. "Stop right there," an officer barked. Harrison turned toward the voice, raising his white cane high. "Officer, is everything okay?" he asked calmly. But the officers didn't see the cane. They didn't notice Valor's bright, red service vest. All they saw was a man who didn't move fast enough. "Put your hands up. Don't resist." Harrison lifted his hands slowly, voice trembling. "I'm blind, sir." "My dog." Before he could finish, Valor barked, a sharp, protective warning. A woman across the street shouted, "He's blind. Look at his cane." But adrenaline had already narrowed the officer's vision. One snapped. Last warning. Valor stepped in front of Harrison like a shield. Then, crack, the taser fired. The prong struck Valor's chest. The dog yelped, convulsed, and collapsed. Harrison screamed, dropping to his knees, hands frantically searching the wet asphalt. "Valor! No!" Another officer yelled, "Stop resisting!" As if a blind man could even locate the voice. Then, a second zap. Electricity ripped through Harrison's body. He convulsed, his cane skittering away, fingers clawing at nothing. Cars honked. People surged forward. Phones shot into the air. Chaos swallowed the intersection whole. Among the crowd was Elena, a nursing student walking home from class. She saw Harrison's faded army patch and dialed 911 with shaking hands. "There's been an attack on a disabled veteran. His service dog is down. He's down. Send help now." The dispatcher replied, "Local police are already on scene." "No," Elena whispered, voice cracking with fury. "The police did this." After a stunned pause, the call was transferred to military emergency response. Across the street, an older man froze. "That's Sergeant Cole," he murmured. "He carried my nephew out of a burning Humvee in Fallujah." Without hesitation, he called the nearest army base. Within minutes, radios crackled across the post. Decorated blind veteran assaulted by local PD. Service dog incapacitated. Immediate tactical response requested. Alerts flashed. Engines roared to life. Meanwhile, on body cam footage no one could yet see, one officer muttered, Bet he's faking it, while another chuckled, "Dog better not bite me. I'll fry him." The crowd's anger turned to outrage. Chants of shame, began to rise like thunder. Then the ground trembled, not from sirens, but from something deeper, heavier. Heads turned, phones lifted. Through the haze of exhaust and rain, 3 military Humvees tore around the corner, lights flashing red and white, engines growling like war drums. They skidded to a halt, blocking the entire street. Doors flew open. Soldiers in tactical gear poured out, forming a human wall around Harrison's trembling body and Valor's motionless form. "Step back," a commanding MP barked. "This veteran is under military jurisdiction." One officer tried to protest. "This is our scene." The MP stepped inches from his face. "You tossed a blind sergeant and his active duty certified service dog. You are done talking." Medics rushed to Valor first. His chest rose, faint but steady. Harrison, barely conscious, kept one hand on the dog's fur. Then the MP saw the name stitched on Harrison's jacket. Cole. His face went pale. "Sergeant Cole? Sir, you saved my entire platoon in Kandahar." Rage hardened his eyes. He turned to the officers. "Body cams." Now, when they hesitated, MPs moved in, stripping the devices and tasers as evidence. The arriving police chief tried to assert authority, but the MP cut him off cold. "The only breach here is your department's assault on a war hero." On a portable screen, the footage played, showing Harrison calm, Valor guiding, officers shouting at a man who couldn't see them. And the audio, those cruel whispers, left the crowd gasping, soldiers shaking their heads in disgust. "These men are under arrest," the MP declared. Handcuffs clicked. Badges no longer offered protection. Harrison woke to the sterile hum of hospital machines. Fear gripped him. Asterisk, was Valor alive? Asterisk, then came a soft whimper. His hand found bandaged fur. "You're okay?" he whispered, tears spilling. "You're okay, buddy." A soldier stepped forward. "Sir, Valor took the worst of the shock meant for you. He saved your life again." Later that day, the MP returned with news. All 3 officers fired, arrested, and charged with excessive force, animal cruelty, and violation of civil rights. The footage went viral within hours. National news networks ran nonstop coverage. The mayor held a press conference, issuing a tearful public apology. Veterans groups rallied outside City Hall. Congress called for a federal review of police interactions with disabled service members. But Harrison didn't want fame or fury. He sat by Valor's recovery crate, fingers gently stroking the dog's ears. "All I want," he said softly, "is to go home with my dog." "You will, sir," the soldier replied. "And not alone. You're part of our family, always." 2 weeks later, Harrison walked through the same park where his world had nearly ended. Sunlight dappled the path. Valor walked proudly beside him, his service vest gleaming, tail held high. People stopped. Some saluted. Others simply said, "Thank you for your service." Children crouched low, asking if they could pet the hero dog. Harrison smiled, a quiet, weary, but unbroken smile. He lifted his face to the sky, feeling the warmth on his skin. "Come on, Valor," he murmured. "We've survived worse, and we're still standing." And in that moment, with his dog by his side and the wind in his hair, Harrison Cole wasn't just a victim of injustice. He was a symbol of resilience, loyalty, and the enduring promise that those who serve are never truly alone. If this story moved you, please hit like and subscribe. Your support keeps these voices heard. Drop a United States in the comments if you stand with our heroes. And remember, sometimes justice doesn't come from a courtroom. It comes rolling down the street in a military convoy. Thank you for watching. Stay kind, stay aware, and never look away.